Hello, 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 and welcome back to Call Your Coven Practical Advice for Nonsensical Times. My name is Bee, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm your resident numerologist.
My name is Jeanna, my pronouns are also she, her, and I am your resident astrologer.
And my name is Meg, my pronouns are she, they, and I'm the resident tarot reader.
And somehow it's November of 2025.
Fake
This
news.
entire year has been like, what do you mean it's the next month? Like, this entire year has been like that.
This entire year has made me wish that months did a retrograde, and then we could go back and have October retrograde, and revisit and then move forward. But that's not how time works, apparently. So I was a humanities major.
Fair.
Yeah.
You know the philosophy of time, not the science of time.
Although I do have a physicist's book about time.
That's what I'm thinking about.
On my bookshelf. Okay, I'm going to be quiet.
No, it feels very philosophical to me, even though I know technically it's a physics book. But...
I mean, physics is the most spiritual of the hard sciences. So
you heard it here first.
I did the numerology of the word time this morning.
Did you?
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know why. I meant to do it the other day.
Because you're a witch and you knew that we would be talking about this.
Because I'm a witch. Well, I'm shocked and not shocked that we're talking about this. But time is a 20, which reduces to a 2. But I thought that was really interesting with time as the judgment card.
I was thinking that, yeah. Fascinating. And also just the combination of 2 with 0 in the Fool. That's cute too.
And 2 is our root number for November.
Yeah. The best month.
So, the best, yeah.
The best month.
Next birthday month.
I love November. Listen, I'm also from the Northeast, and November is the prettiest, so it's a good month.
I do feel like November is one of those months that I look forward to for some reason.
Yeah.
It's the start of the cool down.
Yeah. Well, what's going on for both of you in November? Anything you want to shout out here before we get into it?
Yeah, I am open to new clients for the first time in a very long time for my 2026 year ahead readings that I use some complicated Hellenistic timing techniques in. I also talk about your major transits, major themes for the coming year. I also do some electional work, which is why my readings are a little on the pricier end, because I'll help folks, especially other writers and artists, plan ideal dates. Electional astrology is just the art of finding a good time to do something. That's all it is. But it is very deceptively technical and usually is separate from readings and is its own thing that you have to pay a few $100s for. So I just wrap it into my year aheads. It's a good deal.
It's a good deal. And Gina's year ahead readings are really, really helpful. I got them for years even before we started dating. I have always found them really, really useful. And the electional part is really cool. It's not something that you see every day. So
yeah,
highly recommend.
Just over here helping my writer clients get 7-figure book deals, NBD.
We love to see it.
May that energy find all of us.
Literally. I am mostly just continuing to plug away with my conservatory program. If you are a tarot reader and you are ready to go beyond the basics, my conservatory is packed with almost $2,000 worth of intermediate tarot resources specifically. I've got a few beginners things in there as well, but it's primarily for folks who are ready to go beyond the basics of tarot reading and really expand their practice, make it personal, make it more complex, try some new techniques, and just do a bunch of different beautiful things in there. Also, if you want to learn tarot and numerology, my big class is in there. I am also, as of this recording, I don't have the exact dates finalized yet, so I'm not going to say the exact dates, but I will be running a 2-week community grief container using the tarot for exploration and connection and care over in my Discord. So you can check the show notes for a direct link and some more information about that. And I would love to have you join us, especially if grief is top of mind or if you just want to explore grief in kind of a safe, protected community container. So that's what I got. You got anything, Bea?
I have some news. Of course, there's you can go to my website, you can check out what I'm doing. I actually am guesting on a few podcasts this
Mm,
month, which,
nice.
or I guess they'll be out by the time it's out, including Cosmic Cousins, which I'm
Mm,
so thrilled to
that's
be
exciting.
a guest. But my real news is just health related. And I just wanted to share because a year ago in November of 2024 was where things really went downhill for me. And now here in at the beginning of November 2025, I am in remission from lymphoma. I am moving forward in whatever way that looks like. I'm in a grad school program, and it's not totally processed in any way, shape, or form. um, not totally processed at all, but I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm very grateful for both Meg and Gina and the whole coven for just getting me through all of those months. Like I was just thinking about us recording episodes from my
Girl.
hospital
I
bed.
know. I
And we
cannot
were like,
believe
"Are
you did
you
that.
sure?" And you
You
were
were like,
like, "I
Please.
need a semblance of normalcy. I need to do something." And I was like,
yeah.
"Okay, we can do that."
We sure did. We sure
Yeah,
did it.
we really did. And I don't know why I thought that that would be a good idea, but at this point, I do think it was a good idea. And we're here now, and I'm very grateful to be here and to have more time to bring it full circle.
Oh God.
No, I mean, we love you so much, and it is absolutely wild that it's been a year and we've been recording this whole time, and that, like, to, like, be able to see your little face, like, in your hair journey and just, like, all the different things that have happened since then. It feels like I don't even know how to start talking about it. It's absolutely wild to me that it's been a year of this.
I don't want to
Yeah.
get too real or dramatic on Maine, but also like I don't know. I feel like that, like when you just shared that, it like landed in my body that this time last year we weren't sure if you were gonna be alive
Yeah.
this year. It was so scary and
Yeah.
there weren't answers for so long. And so like the fact that you're in remission, like official, and like in a new grad program and like growing your hair out again and like thriving, it's just like, I don't know, that just like really hit me in a way just now. Yeah.
We really were. Like, I forgot because I can't think about it.
I know.
Yeah.
No, we
It
don't
was,
think about it.
yeah, no, we really were like, we were like in the first stages of grief. Like,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah. I mean, my not this is my very dark humor coming out, but my make-a-wish in the hospital was that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo would come to my hospital room and sing For Good for me because I wasn't going to be alive long enough to see Wicked Part 2.
Okay, but
Um,
That would have been sick
like
though.
that's so on brand. I that's so on brand for you.
It
Yes.
really is.
but now tickets are out and I can purchase one to
You can
see
just go
Wicked
see it.
Part 2 in the theater.
Oh my God.
But no, I don't mean to make a mockery of my own
No,
life.
we have to laugh about these things
This
But
is
sometimes.
I
the purpose
really,
of dark humor.
yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
for.
No, but it's real. And we all went through that together. And thank you from the bottom of my heart and soul for just being rocks in that time. And here we are in another go around. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping easier roads for all of us moving
God, I
forward.
hope so.
Yeah.
This year has been so much in so many ways, but here we are.
Ultimate 9-year energy, B.
My God.
Ultimate 9-year energy. Okay, well, the only thing that gives me hope is actually, Gina, you said that you wished that months had retrogrades this year. And I think that's kind of what these last few months of the
Mhm.
year could be if you
Mhm.
wanted them, because we are in this 9 energy that does leave us in like the numerological energy of each month. Now we're in 10, 11, 12, but we're really in 1, 2, 3 again. So something that came through last month in October was the idea that you could use these 3 months as a wrap up. You could use them as a projection, like what is next year going to feel like in beginning energy again. But I think that idea of the retrograde is, and you'll let us know later, but I think we're actually going into a Mercury retrograde as well.
We are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty apt for the experience of October, November, and December of this month, or excuse me, of this year. And specifically, the idea of whatever I think about the past, and this is kind of what we were just touching at with the processing. It's like you almost do have to forget it because everything is right where you left it. And that feels like a real aphorism for us this month of like everything is right where you left it. So if you're returning to something in the past and it's there, you thought you were somewhere else and you're actually not, you're stuck there, like that's going to need a lot of grace and sensitive tending to in the month of November because November is ruled by the number 11, which is the first double digit that we really give meaning to in a numerological practice. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in the cauldrons, but 11 was also seen by Pythagoras as being too much. But I think we've taken, like, Western modern society has taken this idea of too much, and we're like, no, it's just enough, or we should always be shooting for the stars and striving, and
Right.
we want to be more, and nothing is ever enough. And so that's the pendulum swing of November and of 11 is like not enough to too much. And that's really tough, especially if it is going to bring up past experiences from the maybe the beginning of this year, January, February, March, for us to be looking at again. You might find, like in my personal case, I am a whole light year, away. I've gone from death to life. Like
Mhm.
that's major and meaningful. But there's still so much from that time period that I haven't looked at. And a lot of stuff that honestly has been put off, I've been putting off because other like health and life death has taken center stage. And those things are now coming to call. And it's like, oh, right, I'm alive, but I still have to live. And I now, this bill is due and that person wants to talk to me. And like, oh, crap. Okay, let's do it. So I do feel like that's kind of the energy
Mhm.
of November. I wrote as above, so below, and as within, so without. So, of course, our root number is 2, but 11, we have these two ones. So, 11 does want us to grab this greater view. And I promise I won't talk about Hamilton again this month, but it does ask that we rise above our stations. And I do like the notion of striving for something greater than where we are in like the seeds planted in the dark kind of way. Like the, hey, if I'm dying, why not apply for grad school? For sure. Because it's a wish, it's a dream, like it's a lofty
Yeah.
goal. And we can go for what we want. And so that is a definitely a part of November that I do want to highlight. Like if you are able to access that kind of hope and optimism, please like plug into life, find joy, practice hope, believe to that point of optimism. But know that it really takes strength to stand in your center and be who you are. Last year, we talked about November as being our favorite self. And I feel like in some ways, we're going to be looking in the mirror again this month because I we were having a conversation about this before, so it's also a little witchy, but I literally wrote it can sometimes feel easier to not have ethics or morals or standards or values because it does take strength and it takes alignment of your mind and your mouth and your action doing what you know is right or at least what you can stand behind until you know more than you do right now. And this really takes humility and grace. And, it's no joke to have integrity. It takes heart, which that's ruled by 2, and guts. But at least hopefully you can rest easy knowing that you are standing in your integrity. So this month may show us some opposites as well as present us with some opportunities to make decisions. 11's root number of 2 rules choice. And then everything gets weighed against our own internal compass. So through the lens of the work that we've done or haven't done. So you might be surprised at some updated answers of like what it is that you actually want. And you might find yourself making different choices than you thought that you would. And that's okay. We can always reflect on these variances. We can stay true to ourselves. We can be mindful of the consequences. And I wrote, be aware of the little voice saying you're not doing enough as you try to fly. So again, you're not doing enough to too much. Where the balance will fall for you, that's up to you. But November feels like a little bit of sweet relief, maybe some distance so that we can see the road forward. But I don't know. Ultimately, I've been through too much to go into it blindly. So I'm just, yeah, one foot in front of the other. Let's see how it goes.
Lots of food for thought there. To continue with the theme of, what if months had retrogrades and revisiting and how Q4 echoes Q1 this year, this month, astrologically speaking, very much continues the end of year slowdown. We do have our last Mercury retrograde of the year, which starts in Sagittarius on November 9th and will retrograde back, re-entering Scorpio on November 18th. But aside from that, there's not a ton of astro news this month outside of the lunations, the new and full moon, as well as the fact that we're transitioning from the deep, integrity oriented waters of Scorpio to the hyper belief and what if we tried new things energy of Sagittarius. And honestly, it's nice. We've had a really big, busy astrological year. I have previously said, and many other astrologers have previously said, that 2025 is once in a century astrology. Like Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all shifted signs, Pluto's back in Aquarius for good. Like we've had big energy shifts collectively, and you don't need me to tell you that because you live in the world and have the internet. But yeah, here at the end of the year, there is less new and more integration and reflection, and that is nice. So, on the subject of slow and steady wins the race, the full moon arrives on November 5th at 13 degrees of Taurus. And this is going to be a fun moon, honestly, because this moon is not making any aspects to other planets. It's not talking to any other planets. It's not being influenced by any other planets. And thank fuck, because this is going to be a lovely, lazy moon in the best way. Like comfort food, comfort films, sensual, lived in pleasure. This has the energy of a spa day or a luxurious date night, like with a long-term partner. And self-pleasure, also a great idea today. This is not a full moon for being productive. This is a full moon in which you should be enjoying the fruits of your labor. And Taurus, is all about that good food, good rest, good fuck. And so at the end of the day, just like enjoy. And I'm saying this also largely for my future self who struggles to enjoy the fruits of my labor and who always wants a moon that's going to help me be productive. But like, sometimes that's not the fucking point, as it's not the fucking point of life. It is the point of like leisure is the point of life, I've been reading a book about that actually. I think I might have mentioned it on here before, Vita Contemplativa. It's by the South Korean philosopher Byung-Chul Han, but he talks about how like human activity is ultimately oriented to leisure and inactivity. And what if we embrace that? The new moon arrives later this month at the tail end of Scorpio season on November 20th. And this moon is coming in at 28 degrees of Scorpio in a very long line, and like it will continue into early next year, of like late in sign. There are 30 degrees in a zodiac sign, so 28 is coming very late. And we've like most of our new moons lately have been very late degree new moons. And so I've been thinking a lot, and this isn't going to be especially eloquent because I wrote it in a fugue state last night, but like I've been thinking a lot about what it means for a new moon to arrive at the tail end of its season. Like we have been getting really early full moons and then like 2 weeks of waning. And then at the very end of Scorpio season, as it was with Libra and Virgo season earlier this year, we have the new moon right at the end. And that has like big gestational energy to me, like the sense that our ideas and our moves and our beliefs and what we're wanting to shift, like are taking time to develop in an astrological season, and that they really just have to have time to germinate. And then just as we're ready to transition to the new zodiac season, it's like, oh, now the idea that this season has birthed is here. And this new moon is really busy, which is why I'm bringing this up, because this new moon in Scorpio on November 20th is going to be conjunct Mercury, which will be retrograde in Scorpio. So we are also initiating new patterns or subjects of discussion. November's new moon is also trine both Saturn and Neptune, which are currently both retrograde back in Pisces, like they were in Q1. And this moon will be opposite Uranus, which will have just retrograded back into Taurus, as it was in Q1. So I'll be getting more into this in my newsletter, but there's just this really loud and potent way in which this new moon is helping us initiate and introduce new lessons that we have spent the last few years learning. And because for most of this year, like Saturn and Neptune have both been in Aries. Uranus went into Gemini this summer, and like now during their very last retrograde epilogue wrap up, finishing their time in Pisces and Taurus, they're also connecting with this new moon to like plant seeds that we're going to carry forward into the next season. So I think there just might be some really big like turning points, come to Jesus shifts around the corner at the end of November, just in time for Thanksgiving for those who celebrate the colonizer holiday. And then literally the next day after this new moon, Sagittarius season kicks off. And I will talk about that more in December. But Sag season is very good for parties, good for gatherings, good for revisiting beliefs and values and ethics. As Bee was saying, yeah, I'll pause there.
Yeah, I love all of that. And I think it's very appropriate that we have a couple of fiery cards to talk about for our tarot for this like time of Scorpio and Sagittarius, our water and fire situations. So as always, I started by pulling 3 cards. We've got one that's our theme for kind of this upcoming month. We've got one that's a truth card, which is like a way to think about an internal challenge, something to think about, as well as a dare, which is kind of our external challenge or a risk to take or something new to try. These are not predictive. It's just kind of a vibe and to give you a sense of kind of what's going on and piggyback off of what Bee and Jeanna have already told us about the astrology and the numerology. So our theme card for November is going to be the 4 of Wands, which I feel like is such a perfect balance of like the boundaries and integrity and systems and care that we've been talking about, but also still really holding fast to the things that we are passionate about, the things that we care about, the things that matter to us. It often really feels like things are really starting to come together in a really powerful and satisfying way in terms of creative projects or something that we've been working on, something that we care about, right? 4 has this sense of like foundations being built. But there's also this kind of celebratory, oh my God, we made it to a major milestone energy where we can start to look at a thing and really see it. It's moved from big idea to making the choice to double down on that idea to first draft. And now we've kind of moved into this place of we've done some editing, we've done some organizing, and now we have a product that makes sense to us, right? This might be a second or third draft of a book. This might be like the actual painting you've done after sketching out what it might be. This might be like the recording of a song after you've been making these demos and like practicing forever. But it's got this real sense of now we have something we can share and something we can continue to build on. But I want to emphasize, because it will be relevant later, I think that 4 as a boundaries and kind of security number gets such a bad rap. I feel like people just think about 4 and the tarot as just the emperor, and it becomes about like rules and restriction and authority that we don't want to answer and abuses of power. And certainly 4 can do that, and the emperor can feel that way. But I want to really emphasize the idea of systems and systems that work for us that really lives within this energy as well. But I was really thinking about like the systems that we have to care for our creativity, to protect our creative processes, to protect our passions, you know, the ways that we show up for the things that we care about, and how discipline is less like an emotion that we have, and it's much more about the systems that we have in place that empower us to show up for the things that we care about. And so I think that can be a really helpful theme to think about this month, is paying attention to not just what you love, but how you show up for the things that you love, not just what you care about, but how you want to ensure that you can care about it in a way that is sustainable. Protecting passions, safeguarding values and desires, and really setting intentions, again, around integrity. This idea keeps coming up, like, what is actually real for you? What matters? And how are you making systems and putting things in place that allow you to continue showing up for that thing and making that thing really, really happen? So our truth card for this month, which is something really to think about, it's something to dive deep in, it's something to consider and interrogate within the self. I actually pulled the Queen of Cups, and I wanted to spend time talking about the Four of Wands because I see queens as fours as well. I see queens as the 13th card of their suit. 1 + 3 brings us to 4. So not only do we have death energy for Scorpio season, which, hello, happy birthday, my fellow Scorpios, we're all going to make it. But also queens as really upholders of boundaries and systems in a way that is not just good for them, but is also like community care. So if we think about leaders that are able to be really consistent, if we think about people who know who they are and work through devotion, who care for people and teach them to care for themselves and each other, that's really what I think about when I'm thinking about the Queen of Cups. Teachers, artists, and people with great boundaries, right? And so I think the Queen of Cups in particular can really teach us about emotional boundaries, about treasuring our tenderness, and also about making space for sharing what we feel with the people that we trust. B, I wrote down that you said everything is right where you left it. And that is such a Queen of Cups thing. I was just thinking about Scorpio and fixed water and the well and the ways that emotions don't move if we ignore them, right? If we just let grief or sorrow or despair or numbness or whatever the thing is, or anger, just hang out and we just try to ignore it or bury it, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just going to sit there stagnant, waiting for us to return to it. And so I think the Queen of Cups has a good relationship with their wells of water and their kind of stagnant pools, and understands what flow looks like, and is also able to be patient with themselves about moving that water in a way that is going to be nourishing and nurturing. Again, not just for them, but thinking about relationality, thinking about community, thinking about taking care of each other. And so in November, I want to encourage you to give yourself gentleness with one hand, but give yourself enough love to honor your limits with the other. We've been talking a lot, Jeanna and I in particular, with some friends about the idea that you don't have to be everything to everyone, that anyone who wants to be your friend, actually you don't have to try to be everyone's best friend, that you don't have to be, and nor can you be, available for every single person who wants to be in your life. You actually get to choose where you invest and who you are vulnerable with and how you show up and care for community. I think those things are essential to do. I think that relationships are sacred. I think community is sacred. I think it's important to stay in touch with people, to stay in care with people, and to stay in loving service with those around you in your community, as well as with people that you consider like chosen family. But you really do, I promise, you really do get to decide how much of your time and how much of your heart and how much of your energy you give to other people. To quote a friend, who are you letting be the main characters of your life? And what does that actually look like? I think the Queen of Cups really understands the necessity of paying attention to what your heart is aching for and considering how boundaries allow us to say no to some relationships or communities so that you can say a full-throated yes to other relationships and communities. There's a lot in there. The Queen of Cups, I think, is a really, really potent truth card. I could probably talk about this for an hour and I'm not going to, but I think if the Queen of Cups is really landing for you, or if these small bits that I'm mentioning are resonating, spend some time with the Queen of Cups this month and see what comes up. It is perfect Scorpio energy and also good, like kind of retrograde, what are we returning to? Where is the water kind of vibe. Our dare is completely different. Our dare card is going to be an external challenge, a risk to take, something to push yourself around. And I pulled the Page of Wands. So we're back to fire. This also feels like very Sagittarius energy for me. So we really do have Scorpio and Sagittarius showing up hot in these cards. If the queen is like an expert in the field, someone with experience and leadership and wisdom, the page is kind of just getting started with a new thing. I've said this a million times and I'll probably say it a million more, but I like to think of pages as interns. These are people who know a little bit, but are here to learn, are here to play, are here to experiment, and are here to explore. They are not afraid of failure, and they're also not so stuck in like the drudges of rules and expectations and tradition that they can't see new ideas or think of new things. The Page of Wands is particularly bold and fearless. This is someone who is willing to take risks and try wild things and literally just see what happens when they stop being afraid of mess or weirdness or unexpected ideas. The Page of Wands will just jump headfirst into anything, and that's why we love them. It's a great energy to bring. I really love this card as a dare in general, but especially for November, paired with this Four of Wands energy and this Queen of Cups energy. You know, here in the United States, it feels like every month brings a new breaking point, and things are particularly bad right now. We're recording this on October 20th when the government has been shut down for a bit. We are looking down the barrel of some particularly dark and challenging things. And so having this Page of Wands as a rebel, as a rule breaker, as a disruptor, as a rabble rouser, as a just asking questions guy, as a devil's advocate guy, as a breaking things to see what happens guy. I think this is a really potent energy to lean into. Now, this is going to look different for everyone. Bucking tradition or breaking rules doesn't have to be the same as breaking the law or chaining yourself to a bulldozer or getting on a freedom flotilla. Like, there's a lot of ways that this energy can look. But I bet you there is an area of your life where you actually have the capacity and the power to effectively push back, to challenge your boss, to challenge a system, to break a small rule, to break a big rule, to try something different, to hold someone feet to the fire, to ask a question and force someone to answer it, right? Think about what your rebellion and your wildness and your boldness look like. So this month, for November 2025, I dare you to play around with unexpected actions. I dare you to take a risk, to try something different, to stand up for your values and your integrity and your desires in a way that actually takes up space. I dare you to break a rule, big or small. And I dare you to not let the fear of something that is unknown keep you from trying something that is real and important.
I took a lot of little notes, and the thing that I want to bring up, like this theme of integrity being so loud, and what is it to live in integrity? And I don't know. I think it's also really loud, like, because when I'm thinking about it lately, I'm thinking about Zohran Mamdani, who I know I brought up
Mhm.
last month as well in the New York City mayoral primary. To be fair, Meg and I live in New York, and
We
Bee
do.
used to live in New York and used to vote here. And so, like, is very familiar with our weird fucking local politics. But there's something that Zoran said to Cuomo in the debate, the mayoral debate last week, that I brought up on my phone. Because of course Cuomo like came at him for quote unquote lack of experience, rather like the Page of Wands kind of thing. And Mamdani said, "Well, I don't have an experience. I make up for in integrity, and what he lacks in integrity, he could never make up for in experience."
Such a banger of a line.
Banger, banger.
Well,
But
I'm
like,
sure this man is not perfect, but it is so nice to see someone competent and confident and charismatic and intelligent who reads and who knows how to talk to people running for anything. It's a breath of fresh air.
I think that just that question of like, I don't know, that integrity, you know, it's in the livedness of it. And I think that connection between integrity and experience, like your experience isn't magically going to have integrity when you have a history of the things that Cuomo has a history of. Like, but you can trust someone with integrity to act in integrity. That feels like a very loud theme. And again, the shift from Scorpio to Sag is like very concerned with that. Very, very concerned with that.
Yeah, I think 11 is concerned with that as well. Or 11's not really concerned with that, but 2 is concerned
Mm.
with that of like
Mhm.
I was thinking a lot about even with the Page of Wands, and we were talking about this element of humility
Mm.
and how an intern wouldn't go into a boardroom pretending to be the CEO. That just wouldn't work well for them. So there is an element of humility to knowing your place in
Yeah.
the overall system of things. And that's also kind of very Four of Wands
Mhm.
too. But yeah, I think Oh, it's 11:11 right now. Okay,
Cute.
make a wish. But I think that's kind of what November is about. Like, do you act the same way when no one's looking? Do you say what you mean and mean what you say? Do
Yeah.
you act in ways that are in alignment with your values? Even if they aren't consistent, like, can you stand behind them? Yeah.
Yeah. And that question, I think that you both kind of like brought up too of like accountability and relationship and like what do we owe each other? And the quest, I don't know, I think that's just deeply like out of politicians' mouths. It's very evident to just have a Fox News anchor ask Mamdani, like, are you willing to apologize for this statement you made? And he looks at the camera and goes, yes, and proceeds to like apologize versus someone who has to like check with all their donors if it's okay. Like, like just like that question too of like, who are your actions accountable to and who have you kind of like made yourself accountable to? I don't know. I'm just spitballing over here, but
No, I
yeah.
think it's real, and like that idea of like whose opinions do you care about? Like, are you just trying to please everybody so you'll shift no, depending on who's looking at you or who's paying attention or whose vote you're trying to win or whatever, or do you actually know who you are? And does that allow you to be a lot more consistent with some kind of core, even if there still has to be some kind of flexibility or, unpredictability because we're human beings living in a deeply flawed world?
Yeah, and I think the politics metaphor can be spread far and wide in terms of like, instead of the voting body, it's like your audience or
Yeah.
your community or your family or your
Yeah.
friends or
Yeah.
the mirror. It could be whatever. But I actually do like the idea of like whose vote are you courting when
Hmm.
you act, and like are you able to look at that and be reflective on that and also okay with what it takes to continue living in a world. Yeah, I feel like we are dancing around something that's like really hard to put into
Hmm.
words, but everybody kind of knows what it feels like.
Yeah. There's something around to like what you were saying with whose vote are you courting be, as it were. And it's like that old adage, right? It's like if you're if you're trying to be for everyone, you're for no one. Like if a politician is courting everyone, then they are I'm gonna bring up Hamilton again because it's the Aaron Burr problem. It's the Aaron Burr problem. It's the if you stand for nothing, what will you fall for? Like
I'm
challenge
not going to quote
all your
Hamilton.
coven. What if we did a podcast without referencing Hamilton, but also it's just
2026.
2026. But there is that. I think there's the thing about acting in integrity is that you have to be comfortable saying no. You have to be comfortable offending people just with your existence or opinion, like not trying to, but like if you are acting in like Meg and I, we're all queer. Meg and I are married. That offends a lot of people. I don't give a shit. Like be offended. Like, this is my truth. I'm not hurting anyone. Kind of like oh my God, like how the crown jewels got stolen from the Louvre or from Versailles the
Yes,
other.
I just
Yeah,
heard about this.
And
it just
Meg
happened.
came into the room to talk to me about it. And Meg was like, I think it's kind of finders keepers with the French government, with the
Funny,
colonial
honestly.
like if you can get in and out of the Louvre in 7 minutes and steal the
Yeah.
crown jewels, man, you deserve those. Like,
That road rolled a nat 20 and I'm fucking here for it, all right? They planned their heist, they knew what they were doing, and like they stole it first. Like who cares, you
yeah,
know?
it's also it's like who does it hurt? I'm not mad. Like also with Medicaid and SNAP benefits getting cut,
Truly.
who gives a shit if someone is shoplifting food? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, if
Say
you see
nothing.
anything at the grocery store, no you fucking didn't.
No, you didn't. Like, it's not hurting anyone. Like, especially if it's like a Walmart or corporate chain or something like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like the discomfort around like being someone who is perceived as good, slash, as B, you were saying before we were recording, the white supremacist discomfort with not being perceived as quote unquote good. And like, yeah, I'm just,
Laws are not moral.
yeah.
Laws are not moral.
Laws are not moral, and people who act in integrity are going to offend other people. I think that acting in integrity is actually diametrically opposed to being likable. Not to say that plenty of people will not like and love you and be attracted to what you're doing or whatever, but like if you are making decisive choices that, especially ones that upend the status quo or that are pulling in those on the margins, that is going to upset some people in your anyway. Yeah. I'm just on a soapbox now. Take me off it, guys.
November 2025. Commit a crime. I'm just joking.
You know,
I'm
we
just
already
joking.
had a Be Gay Do Crimes, right?
Oh man.
But it's page one's energy. It just
It's
is.
page
It's
one,
like
yeah.
fuck some shit up. Like
Yeah.
like hold somebody's feet to the fire. Like I just ran this container called Rebel Rebel, and we were talking about the different ways that rebellion looks in different people's lives. And I had multiple people who were like, "Well, I work in a corporate setting. I think my rebellion kind of sometimes just looks like asking my boss why we're doing this and who it serves and how this actually helps anything. Why are we trying to jam AI into everything? Whose decision was this? Why is this? Why are we doing things this way?"
Yeah.
Why is this the system? Why are we prioritizing this client over this one? And the way that, and like forcing them to explain themselves often actually does end up making some change, because when they have to say things out loud to a bunch of their employees or to people who are on their same pay level, sometimes it makes change. You make people uncomfortable and force them to say things out loud that are just implied, and suddenly things get a little more uncomfortable. And also sometimes you move the needle a little bit.
And it was white people are especially well
Yeah.
positioned in corporate environments to do that kind of work. Like,
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, think about what your everyday rebellions actually look like. And part of that is going to look like, where are you safe? What does your privilege look like? How does it manifest? That's going to be different for everyone. But if you're in rooms that most people aren't in, think about how you can use that positionality to push back and make some change happen. I'm not in boardrooms. Like, I'm my own CEO, and I'm not a very good one, to be honest. I have terrible working hours. And
you actually
benefits
are
really
very
need to
mean
go up,
boss
so
to yourself.
I'm very
Not to
mean
put you on
boss.
blast and
I would
on the
never treat an
podcast,
actual
but-
employee like this, but I am not. I hold myself to impossible standards.
Oh no, B and I are also in this picture.
Oh yeah.
I'll land on this grenade, but it's not just me.
Well, I mean, I think as a boss, like I just abandoned ship this year.
Okay, you had, as we
Listen.
established, you had really bad cancer. Like,
Oh yeah, but I'm in the picture of like I would never treat an employee like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
But
we're
never
another
make an employee
person.
record a podcast from their hospital bed.
I wouldn't. I would be like, what the fuck? Just be
Literally,
in the
what are you
hospital.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
This is making me, I know we've been talking for a minute here and should probably cauldron, but this is also all making me think, like right now on TikTok, Jennifer Welch of the I've Had It podcast is like blowing. I mean, it's a huge podcast, but like her interview with Cory Booker especially is blowing up because she is this like Southern, like she's from Oklahoma. She's got this twangy country accent, white lady, like blown out blonde, bleach blonde hair, but like is pushing Cory Booker to his face on why he has like voted, why he's on board with APAC. And you can see the shock. Like, when is the last time a prominent interviewer asked, like, actually held someone's feet to the fire? It's like, talk about like weaponizing privilege, but also like, you know, no one thinks the Southern white blonde lady is gonna like, you know, be
But that's the
super
thing.
Antifa, but like, here we are. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, that's the kind of, and people are like loving it because as uncomfortable as she's making a lot of people, she's asking the questions that like millions of us wish we could ask him to his face. Him and Chuck Schumer and all the fucking rest of them. But
Yeah, no, I mean, prominent Democrats especially need to be pushed, but also, like, this is why town halls should exist. This is why people are protesting. This is why people are pushing back on politicians dining out at restaurants or going on book tours or whatever they're doing. It's like, ask them questions and make them answer them. Like, that is
Yeah.
a thing that we can do. And the people that are in a position to do it should be doing it. And often that is white people. Like, so
Yeah.
if you're white like us, use what you got and figure out how to use it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, politicians should be uncomfortable. They work for us.
also, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but it is Thanksgiving this month, and that sure is a time that a lot of people are going to be around a lot of family members
Yep.
who, you know, like like who needs to have a good dinner with your racist uncle? Like, hold his feet to the fire.
Mhm.
Like the performance of white civility is at an all-time high in November, especially, and I
Mhm.
am very here for people rocking the boat.
Yep.
November 2025, rock the boat.
Rock the
Rock the
boat.
boat, rock the vote, rock the
I
boat.
know. It
God,
sounds
we are
like
the
both.
MTV generation. It's such a thing. Like,
Well, RIP,
I
because MTV
know.
is no more.
R.I.P. MTV.
Should be cauldron.
let's cauldron.
Yeah, my brain is trying to do a video killed the radio star thing that's like AI and social media killed the video star, but it doesn't matter. It's like,
Okay, for finances, for our money. Like I said, 11 has too much energy. So be aware of overspending or overcommitting yourself in November. If you have been through the ringer financially and you are refusing to look, I am with you in this. This month could offer you some gentle magic to finally get that bird's eye view in a way that is expansive and all encompassing. Two is the number of connections, so things might be easier with someone else in your corner. So, this is your call to book the appointment with the accountant, the CPA, the financial planner, the banker, whatever. Call the credit card company, see what kind of debt relief program they can offer you, see what is possible together. Ask your questions. Hopefully, you find something really lovely and you can like get yourself a little treat afterwards. But this month definitely has that retrograde energy of like we've been doing too much and now we have to like be with that.
So, like I mentioned earlier, astrologically speaking, for finances, the last Mercury retrograde of the year starts on November 9th, and then will station direct on November 29th. So, this is not really the time for financial risks or extravagant Black Friday splurges. As Meg mentioned, we are recording this in late October. Like, I have already seen quote unquote Black Friday sales. Like, whew, guys, like we're not doing this year is putting more money in our corporate overlords' pockets. This is a month to pay things off, be mindful of what you need, audit yourself, especially watch out for emotional spending. I agree with everything B said.
Dang, I was hoping someone would disagree with me.
no, I'm definitely not gonna disagree with you. I'm literally like everything they said. So don't panic. I pulled the tower. Again, this is not predictive. We're just hanging out. The tower scares everybody, and that's fair and that's fine. The tower, when we're not prepared for it and we're not embracing it and we're not paying attention to it, is not great generally. It's not a comfortable feeling. But the tower as advice, the tower as here's what you should do when it comes to your money can be a lot more helpful. Again, like B said, this is the time to address the things you've been ignoring. And same with that kind of retrograde energy. This is the time to revisit things. This is the time to pay attention. The tower is really considered a card of disruption and change. And so in the realm of finances, I think about this like making a bold move, not necessarily because you're spending a lot, but in that way where you're shifting your strategy in a way that is powerful and is going to set you up for a new trajectory. So again, this might be hiring an accountant to finally handle stuff you've been ignoring, making that scary phone call to the credit card. It's not going to be as bad as you think. Maybe changing the structure of your business, like shifting if you're an LLC or an S corp or a sole prop or like whatever those things are. Maybe you're filing for bankruptcy. Maybe you're finally quitting your horrible job after you've been preparing for it for a really long time, or some other kind of action that is going to pave the way for significant and necessary transformation. And this came up a little bit earlier as well, but also, we're still in the midst of a government shutdown here in the United States. So also thinking about the literal shifting benefits and the loss of things that is out of people's control around SNAP and food benefits, housing benefits, healthcare benefits in this country, and how financial resources might be changing for you in major ways, but also just might be impacting people around you, people in your neighborhood, people in your community, people that you care about. I want to remind you to, if it's possible, to consider ways that you can support people you love whose situations might be changing or disrupted as well. As well as to consider additional resources, if you have them, things to donate or things to move out of your home that might be really supportive to people in your community who can use them. In short, the TLDR is be brave and do the things that you know you need to do. And if you can, keep others in mind as well.
Okay, this feels like a really smooth segue into home because I wrote for the numbers, this feels like a month that's either going to have you rooting down or
Mhm.
ripping apart.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who's ripping apart, then the donations, like what can
Mhm.
you move up and out, I feel like really goes in alignment with that. But I feel like for home in November, you're either going to look around the house and exhale and be like, oh my gosh, it finally feels like home. How gorgeous. All these little changes I've been making are now adding up to something. Or you're going to look around and see all the changes that need to be made. So 11 wants you to look long term and to not half ass things or cut corners because it seems faster, cheaper, or easier. So again, what we said is be mindful with money, but so don't overcommit because you could find yourself in a much larger project than you intended. So we're looking for like, if you look around and everything needs to change, it's like, what makes the most sense to act on right now, but also in the long run, we're not getting like the cheap foam version of anything that you actually need to be buying, like the good. This is like the IKEA furniture that'll last for a year or the little bit more that will last for 5 years. Like go for the long term. But again, be careful of money.
That makes a lot of sense. And kind of on that note, I picked a day specifically for home that I just want to flag in case things are feeling a little tender. So on November 12th, and this can certainly apply to many areas of life, but Mars will be conjunct Mercury retrograde. And this has the energy of misunderstandings or fighting words. Perhaps about who is going to whose house for the holidays. Because especially with holiday season, like right around the corner and planning and all of that stuff, just mind your words. Sometimes inside thoughts are inside thoughts. I say that as an external processor, but like sometimes inside thoughts are inside thoughts. They're not social media thoughts. And this is a time too to remember that everyone is going through the same astrology in the case that you get butthurt or that, by something that someone said that they probably didn't intend, but they were too sharp and because they're too annoyed, because they're too stressed, because they have to see their mom or whatever reason. I will say that Mars conjunct Mercury retrograde, especially in Scorpio, is also very good apology energy. And if you want to be intentional about having a rough about having like a conversation that might involve some hurt feelings, but you want to be intentional and mindful, you can also definitely harness this day as well. And this is also going to be revisiting conversations that were being had incidentally around October 20th. So you might want to go back in your calendar and just see what was coming up for you then, because this is, again, like it back in October, Mercury was just going direct and hanging out and like in the car, zipping down the highway. And now it's like, oh, I left my luggage in another state and I have to go back the way I came to check every gas station and see where it is. That's,
Nightmare.
I, I don't know why that's what came through.
That's
Because
an
that's,
awful metaphor, Jesus.
I
Really
mean,
terrible.
so
It's not like you made a bad one, it that's
just to bring it
stressful.
home, I need anyone who has also driven the horrible 10 hours across South Dakota to know that that drive is specifically what was in my head when I received that image. So we're not, even if we're stressed, we're trying to move intentionally and be kind to people around us because everyone's having a rough time.
Cool, 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 cool.
I
Well,
just saw the card you pulled. That's
I
so
pulled,
fucking funny.
I pulled the Ace of Cups, which is like everything all at once, all the time. In some ways, it's like all of your feelings are here. This can be a really gorgeous beginning in the realm of home. It could be a dream for your home that's starting to clarify. It could literally be a new roommate or a living situation opening up. It could also just be like a softening or a change when it comes to your literal feelings about your home, whether that is like the place that you live, like the place that you sleep and eat, or whether it's like the city that you're calling home. I feel like the Ace of Cups often can encourage us to have space to breathe and process, to check in with the heart, to check in with the spirit about longings and wishes and dreams. You don't need to rush decisions this month, and I would encourage you not to when it comes to big, big home things that feel really emotional and tender. Again, I think this is kind of high level, long term, letting yourself dream the big dreams. What do you want your home to look like in the future? Who do you want to share it with in the future? And what do you want the idea of home to mean to you in the the years to come. But yeah, also to Gina's point, feelings might be big and tender. It might be like, I have all the feelings at the same time, and so does everyone else. Whew. So literally drink some water, go outside, kick rocks or snow or whatever you need to do, and just like give yourself a break, give yourself some grace, and honor the all the feelings are there, but they're not always gonna all be there at the same time.
Okay, love for the numbers is where the sweetness really lies. And I love this for us. Two, which is the root number of 11, wants you to go out and meet the love of your life. This is like very soulmate energy. 11 also is a little bit like U-Haul energy. So just be mindful of that. But I actually think kind of go for it. Like if you've been looking to get back out there, consider cuffing season to be your chance. That said, 11 is really about the love and strength and comfort and bond of community. So it's larger than even 9, which is humanity. So this is kind of the universal community, the larger family. So this is a great month to really connect with and celebrate within your neighbor. I even went bigger, like you just did, Meg, city, state, country, people, like whatever and whoever is meaningful to you. I will also say this just came through when you were someone was talking about social media, but this also has I like a notion of parasocial relationships feeling really juicy and kind of confusing. It's like the idea of someone saying something to the void and then it really touching you specifically, and then you have an attachment to that person that said the thing that really got you. So I think there's some things to be aware of this month, but really I do feel like it's for love, it's mostly tenderness, mostly sweetness, mostly like the energy of putting ourselves out there and actually receiving something in return.
I love that. So for love and astrology, I have one day that's amazing, one day that could go either way, and one day to be mindful of. So we will start, and they're kind of like, they're not sequentially ordered in the month. So the beautiful day, date night, like girls' night, spa day with your sister, best possible hang ever, like have a party, is November 26th. That is a Venus trine Jupiter day. It's especially going to be good for people who you have emotional intimacy with. Like, I don't know that it's like ideal brand new relationship or, new friend vibes, but it's definitely best friend, partner, old college friends you're getting back together with, definitely those vibes. So November 26th, mark your calendar, do something lovely with those who you love. November 2nd is the sort of like, it's nice with asterisks because that day it's a Venus Jupiter square, and that can be, on the one hand, it can be grand gestures, it can be like go big or go home, but it can also be overpromising, it can also be a little love bomby. So like, especially if you have some new feelers with people happening at the top of November, just like be aware of that. And then November 7th, be mindful, is Venus, that's a Venus Pluto square happening. So we want to be super, super mindful of power dynamics in relationships. And I'm putting this under love, but that's like Venus Pluto is also just like relationships of all kinds. So like if power dynamics are flaring with your boss or with your roommate or who, like, just, move with intention around that time.
We're going to talk about 2 again because I pulled the 2 of Pentacles actually for love, which I think is really sweet. Yeah. 2 is great for relationships, and not just like romantic partnership, but like, again, all kinds of relationships. It's a lovely energy. It is a bit of a slower energy in the realm of Earth and Pentacles. So where like the 2 of Wands might be like a really hot night in, or the 2 of Cups might be like talking all night about your feelings. 2 of Pentacles makes me think about like the kind of intimate conversations that you have with someone that you're like thinking about building a life with, whatever that looks like, around like your long-term dreams and your goals, which is sexy in a different way. I think there still can be some kind of sensual energy with that, but it's very like, how are we investing in our relationships? What do we want to build together? What kind of future do we think this might have? And how do we want to show up as resources for one another in a way that's going to have long-term stability and care? So I think especially when you're thinking about your relationships, loving, platonic, all the different flavors of love, think about the ways that you are wanting to connect with people, and think about the ways that a really great relationship is going to reconnect you or help you continue to show up for friends and chosen family and communities and neighbors and the people you want to spend time with. This isn't the kind of relationship that isolates you from everything else, where you just disappear for 6 weeks at a time, with the new relationship energy. This is instead like, what are we building together as a group, and how do we want to, take care of each other as part of a like relationship ecosystem? So when it comes to love, think about what you're juggling. Think about what's resourcing you. Think about how all of your relationships intersect with those realities. Think about what is blossoming and how that blossom is fitting into your existing world. And then, think about what is sustaining you and how are your relationships part of your broader ecosystem.
Cool. Continuing with the slow down vibes. Again, when I thought about health for November, I heard too much. So we're being really mindful this month. Last month, we were very intentional to not go too fast at the start of something new. So we are, again, just continuing to put one foot in front of the other in November. It also might be worth taking a big picture look at your health before heading into the winter months. Quite like finances, if you've been avoiding looking at certain things in your health life, health and wellness and well-being, then November is the time to look at it. So like, do you need a checkup? Do you need a tune-up? Do you need to book that appointment? What have you been avoiding? And this includes just avoiding doing what is nourishing for you. So connect with yourself in November, and we're not doing too much, but we are giving ourselves what we need.
So a day to be mindful of in November, November 4th, we have a Mars-Uranus opposition. I know that folks tend to think of Mercury when we're thinking about transportation, and like, yes, 100%. But especially when it comes to like cars and like vehicles that we operate in a regular vehicles that have to do with fast movement, which is Mars, and like that we're operating in a way that, and it's like heavy machinery, also Mars. I think a lot about Mars, Uranus, and car accidents, and also just like transport accidents. So, if you're on the road, be mindful. Like, obviously we can't help what other drivers are doing, but like just look both ways a few times, that kind of thing.
When is this?
November 4th.
Okay.
My 40th birthday, so maybe we'll stay home that day.
Or you can solve this problem by not having a car. But the other piece, so cars, like car accidents are like a major signature of, and again, when I say this, I'm not saying that everyone, that it's going to happen, but it's like car stuff. I would encourage folks to just be mindful of. Also, knives, scissors, again, Mars, sharp objects, Uranus, accidents. So this is also like a common, like just, accident in the kitchen, accident at the craft table with your 5-year-old. Like it's that kind of, not necessarily like catastrophic, but like, oh God, like, and now I have this like deep cut in my finger that is going to impact my typing for the next 2 months or whatever the fuck. So November 4th, be careful.
Stay home and order in.
We are not staying home and ordering in. I am taking you out to the one restaurant that changed my life in Brooklyn that you haven't gone to yet. I'm taking you out. I'm sorry, the idea that I wouldn't do anything for your 40th, Meg.
Look, I don't want to get stabbed, all right? Okay.
In gentrified Brooklyn, famously, many stabbings.
I live by myself.
Many stabbings.
I'm not concerned about getting stabbed by a stranger. I'm concerned about hurting myself.
Exactly. You're not going to cook. Okay. Sorry, this has turned into a birthday fight.
I was trying to make a cute thing and it went too far. And I'm sorry. You can take
it. You guys should fight on me more often.
Yeah, it's great. Love that for all of us. Okay. Well, I did in fact pull a sharp object for our tarot card. I pulled the Ace of Swords.
Oh my gosh.
No joke. So To echo B here with the Ace of Swords, this is a month for thinking big picture rather than getting stuck in the weeds or like fixating on something that you actually can't do anything about or don't know for certain. I think swords, because it's the mind, because it's information and communication, but it's also perception and like anxiety. When we push swords to the limit, we end up in these like negative obsessive thought patterns and like being sure of something that we actually don't have any proof or facts around at all. But I think the Ace of Swords is often the antidote to that kind of like panicked freak out tunnel vision, because the Ace of Swords can give us space to be open to different possibilities and different perceptions and just different opinions and viewpoints. So again, if you are trying to investigate something, if you are getting new information, stay open to possibility instead of obsessing over one potential reality and being like sure of what you think you know. There could be a lot of clarity around health this month, especially if you're dealing with a long-term challenge that you've been trying to find more information on, or trying to find a new doctor, or trying to explore a new symptom or whatever. But I think the Ace of Swords can offer patience and thoroughness when you are applying it in a way that is constructive. But it's also really a reminder to stay curious and keep asking questions. Don't decide that the first thing you hear is definitive. This is second opinion energy. This is tell me more about that energy. This is what else do I need to know about that energy? And don't stab yourself, I guess.
November 2025. Don't stab yourself.
It is a trial and a tribulation to be a birthday person who is married to a not birthday person, is what I'm going to say about that. Like,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. November's all about opposites.
Yeah. I am a Scorpio person who's an 11 life path, and I was born in November, so it's all very loud right now.
do we have a trope of the month, B? Is opposites attract our trope of the month?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I love this. Okay, definitely opposites attract.
Love it. Love it.
Maybe also hurt comfort.
If someone gets stabbed, yes,
The
definitely.
Scorpio way is hurt comfort. Sorry.
I love it. I also do have to say that Smut Club is having its first Saturday meeting in November on 11/22,
Cute.
which is my wedding anniversary. And I did ask for permission to host Smut Club the morning of my wedding anniversary. So if you want to come, get at me.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Happy early anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
5 whole years this year.
Amazing.
Wild. Okay, well, I feel positive about November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, November 4th is also the mayoral election here, so that's gonna be fun.
It will be.
Birthday.
Yeah.
It will be. You know, because Mom Donnie's gonna win.
Yes.
Like, so it's gonna be great.
Fucking better. So yeah.
I will say, sorry, I'm just the problem is that I'm a politics nerd also. It's been a joy to get to see the broader country discover Curtis Sliwa, who is everyone's problematic Long Island uncle.
I forget he exists, and then he starts talking, and I'm like,
And then he's like, I got shot by the Gambinos. It's like his opener to every fucking answer.
Bonkers.
Yeah. So don't get shot by the Gambinos in
Right.
November.
Important.
Don't get stabbed.
Make a note.
And be open-minded and move with intention.
And take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Leisure. That's the other thing.
Leisure, yes.
I just wrote
Leisure.
leisure and underlined it. I didn't put any context in with it.
Yeah.
Well, we are online at callyourcoven@gmail.com. You can email us. You can find us, I guess, on social media at callyourcoven.
Yeah.
We're on
there.
Patreon at callyourcoven. And you know how to work with us. Why do I like not know how to end a show all of a sudden?
You're perfect. You're perfect and you've never done anything
This has been a
wrong.
chaotic one, and I think we're all
Yeah.
doing great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for everyone to be like, well, they're off the rails. They're
They've totally
officially
lost the
unwell.
plot.
Like,
Yeah.
That's it. It only took till November 2025.
This long.
No, we promise we're great. Everyone's going to be great.
We are fine.
We're fine. And we'll be back later this month with a conversation.
Yeah, totally.
All right, you guys. We'll see you next month.